Getting right into today's video, we're going to start off by removing my practice hands current design. I'm going to be popping these off because I'm able to do so with our easy prep system. So if you guys are new here, this is my practice hand that my husband and I have created. It is from our website veedabella.com. You guys are more than welcome to shop our site and use my discount code VEE to save a little bit of money. But we created this system where you can easily interchange the nail tips so that you can get the most effective practice over and over again without having to soak off the nails, and you're able to file on this hand easily because of our easy prep system. It keeps the nails on there super sturdy. That way you can file using your e-file, your hand file, and the nails will not move. So in order to prep our hand, we do pre-prep them with a natural nail, meaning that when you receive your hand, they will have natural nails already pre-attached, which are the ones that you are seeing on here. Then you would take our easy tape. This is super easy to apply if you follow kind of the process that I'm using. We're gonna press down those sides, and then I'm going to use our working tip. This one, I slide it up underneath that little white piece of paper, peel that off, and then you're able to slide in your working tip. And then we press down once you get that nice free edge length, and you pretty much repeat that on the rest of the nails. This is essentially a long-lasting press-on system for your practice hand. So like I mentioned earlier, the nails will not budge, they will not move until you are ready to remove them using the process that I used at the beginning of the video using my cuticle pusher. So we're gonna be going in with our tips of choice. Mine are from Amazon. They are linked on my Amazon storefront. I'm taking my Young Nails brush on glue and I'm going to apply my extensions to our working tips that we have applied on our practice hand. That's gonna be the easiest way to practice over and over again. These tips are my favorite. They are non-C-curve, extra long, which means you have whatever length available that you want or your clients might want. They are super sturdy and absolutely love them. I'm going to be taking my nail tip cutters and we are going to be doing a long length for today's design. Just making sure everything is nice and even. Now, I have mentioned before that we also are going live when I am doing these designs. So if you guys see any crazy commotion in the background or a random hand pop up on the screen, that's probably why. I'm going to go in and file these tips using my hand file. These are the Tammy Taylor peel and stick files. I'm going to go in and just file the tip, but also the sides of a few of the nails. Now, if your nail size is in between two sizes, I always recommend to go up one size, and then you are able to just file down into the desired length or the necessary length. So I am doing that here on the middle finger and the ring finger as well. For today's acrylic choice, it is First Nude from Not Polish. It's one of my favorite nudes to use on darker skin tones like mine. It is so flattering. I'm going to be using my Chaun Legend acrylic brush in a size 10. Now, do know if you want bigger beads and the process to go a little bit quicker, I would highly recommend use a 12, 14, even 16 size brush, specifically for longer nails and specifically if you're trying to do them a little bit thicker. I started off with a medium-sized bead of acrylic. I placed it near where the tip meets the natural nail, and then we're going to be working that product downwards by simply tapping it. And do note that I'm continuously wiping those sides to ensure that my shape stays perfectly. I'm taking a second medium bead. We are going to immediately let it go, and then we roll that acrylic from each side into the center of the nail. That way it's not overflowing, and I continue to do that until it is starting to be the consistency that I want it to be, and I'm able to just blend it downwards. I am focusing on keeping the bulk of that acrylic up towards the top of the bead, because that is essentially where we want to keep the apex area. So I keep the bulk of the product upwards, and then we just feather and blend down the bottom portion of our bead. I'm just focusing on the base as of right now. If I do notice that I need to add a little bit of thickness or any extra product anywhere, I'll go ahead and do that either now or at the end. I'm taking my third bead. This one is also a medium-sized bead. I'm gonna hold it near the cuticle and immediately let it go. And as I start to work the product into the cuticle area, I wanna make sure that my finger is going downwards. That way, as you push it, the product naturally flows down towards the tip, which gives you a super flawless application near the cuticle area. Very important that if you guys are struggling with your cuticle application or really any of the process, make sure that you guys are focusing on your liquid to powder ratio. That is going to be such a game changer when it comes to your application. If it's too runny, if it's too dry, always practice your liquid to powder ratio. Once you get that down, everything else will be super easy. And then you'll be able to tweak certain things. Example being, if your room is too hot, you'll understand that. If it is too hot, that means your bead is going to dry too quickly. So either knock down that temperature or you want to make your bead a little bit more on the wet side. So as you can see, I ended up adding a little bit more on the tip. It needed to be blended a little bit better, so I went ahead and did that. Now for the ring finger, we're going to be doing an accent nail. For this, I'm going to be adding some little leaves as the background and base for our final design. I borrowed these from my coworker because I couldn't find mine. I don't know what happened to them. So I am using a very small bead of clear acrylic, making sure it is nice and wet. And then I applied that to my tip. I'm going to be using that as an adhesive for my leaves. And as it starts setting, obviously it's going to hold that leaf into place. And then I'm just kind of adding some wherever I feel like I need to add them. We're going to encapsulate this and do an ombre as well on this nail. Now, in order to get my ombre to glide down perfectly and blend easier, I'm going to encapsulate the top portion of my leaf. So I went in and added a layer of clear acrylic. And now we're going in with a medium-sized bead. And now I'm able to just blend that down into the clear acrylic without it getting into the little crevices and creases of our little leaves. You want to make sure you slightly encapsulate it first, and then you go in with your ombre. And then we're going to be infilling the rest of the nail. Now let's take this cuticle area as a moment of learning. We are going to be placing our bead. I got super distracted because my pinky finger was sliding up and you guys can see it popping up. Now this hand that I'm using is a non-posable hand from our site. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend, especially if you have issues with like joint problems in your fingers or any kind of pain issues. It's a really good option in comparison to the posable one, in my opinion, specifically because you don't have to have too much effort to move the fingers. However, sometimes when you do not move the finger out of the way properly, it will bounce back up because the non-posable hands do not have wire in them. They will return to its original state when you accidentally let it go. So I was so focused on that finger not flipping up that my cuticle area overflowed. And in order to do that, you guys can see how I took the tip of my brush and I just wiped alongside the cuticle area all the way down the side of the tip. That is going to be the best way to clean up little mess ups like that. Now, very important that you continue to do that over and over again until there is no product left behind in the crevices of the cuticle. And it is important to practice this on your practice hand as well, because that way you'll be comfortable if it happens on a client. So nice little learning moment. We're gonna go ahead and finish our acrylic application. I'm gonna be doing basic acrylic application on the middle finger and the index finger. Same process. This time I'm using a medium bead, but placing it a little bit lower because the nails are a little bit longer and I wanna make sure that I get my thickness at the tip right from the start. So I start to bounce the product downwards and then I start tapping it into the areas that I want it to move. And we always wipe those sides. And once I get a perfect thickness, I start blending the acrylic back upwards because I don't like cutting the excess off. Not quite sure why, but I think for the most part, it's because I don't want to waste product. So we're going to work our way towards the cuticle area just like we did on the pinky. And then we will get started filing. Now once everything is nice and dry, I'm going to be going in with my e-file. This is kind of what I always start off with. I am going in with my e-file at a speed of about 12,000 RPMs, and I'm using that alongside my 5-in-1 bit, and I'm just going to focus on that cuticle area. I want to make sure that it is nice, flush to the natural nail, and super, super smooth. And then we're going to be going in with my hand file and filing the rest of the nails. So a very quick process. I'm only focusing on that cuticle area. I feel like for longer nails, it is a lot easier to just file with your hand file. So definitely recommend switching to that if you have a problem or any issues trying to get the nail super smooth with your e-file, specifically with longer nails. I'm going to go in now with my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file once again. I'm going in on the sides to make sure everything is nice and crisp. And then very quickly, we're going to file the surface of the nail, just ensuring everything is nice and smooth and perfect for our nail art application. Now I'm going to be filing the tip, flipping the hand around, looking at the nails from what would be the client's perspective. I do this on my clients as well, and of course I have to do it on my practice hand. So I took it off of the stand and then I flipped it around, and we're going to be filing the tip that way. I'm going to make it nice and crisp, and then we are going to be cleaning everything off and starting off with our nail art. Now to clean my hand, I'm going to be taking a lint-free wipe and a little bit of alcohol. We're going to scrub the hand first. I prefer to do this just for my own weird ways. I always end up just cleaning the hand first, getting rid of all of that dust. I always feel like if I go in with the nails first, and then that dust is going to transfer down to the nails. I don't know. My thought process sometimes is a little weird. I'm taking a separate lint-free wipe and adding a little bit more alcohol, and we're going to be cleaning the nails in the cuticle area as well, just ensuring that I get all that dust out of those areas so that it doesn't transfer onto my gel polish or gel paint whenever I'm doing the nail art. Now for the nail art, we're going to be going in with a long liner from Veeda. I am using a concoction of a black gel polish and black gel paint just to make it a little bit thick but still nice and smooth. I'm going to be taking my long liner and we're just going to be hand painting the smile line. And then we're going to be infilling the rest of the nail. To easily do that and to make your time go a little bit quicker, I'm going to be taking the brush and the gel polish that I used in our mixture, and I'm actually going to be using that to apply it on the rest of the nail. We're going to be also doing a Frenchie on the index finger, and of course this is going to go into the light for a full 60 seconds. Now, once everything is fully cured, I'm actually going to be taking a lint-free wipe and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe, and I'm going to be cleaning the surface of that. Reason being is we're going to be using some pigments. And if y'all know, pigments will grab onto any tacky surface. And so we're going to remove that inhibition layer from our black gel polish to ensure that it doesn't stick on there. I'm taking my long liner once again, and I'm going to be taking white gel polish, and we're going to be applying that around the cuticle to make a nice and thin, trying to make it even line. I am cleaning up with my 3D brush and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe, repeating that on the index finger as well. I will apologize because I accidentally stopped recording when I got into the pigment portion. I'm using my pigments from Profiles Backstage. It's their little powder tower or pigment tower. Absolutely love it. I've had mine for like 6 years and it is still going strong. Definitely recommend it. I feel like it's such a steal for the amount of product you get, and it's gonna last you forever. I am taking a fluffy brush also from Profiles Backstage, and I'm tapping that into my pigment, and then I'm pressing it into my tacky layer of my white gel polish. So note that I cured the white in the light for a full 60 seconds, and then we're going in and pressing that pigment in. Taking a fluffy brush, we're gonna be removing the excess of that pigment. Now for the middle finger, we're going to be doing a pumpkin. It's going to be half of a pumpkin. So we're starting off with like 2 curved in lines. I made one side smaller, and then we're going to infill the rest of the tip with white gel polish. This one is called Can't Elope from Chaun Legend. Absolutely love his line. I'll leave everything linked down below if you guys are interested, along with my discount code, so you guys can save a little bit of money. But I'm just going to go ahead and infill the rest of that, and we are curing that in the light for a full 60 seconds. Once we are fully dry on that tacky layer, once again, we're going to be pressing in our pigment. I'm going to kind of ombre the orange into pink. So I'm just focusing on the top portion, cleaned my brush as best as possible, dipped it into my pink, and then we're just going to be pressing that in, kind of blending it together in that middle point. And then again, we're going to remove the excess pigment. Now again, I'm going to be taking my black gel polish paint concoction. With my long liner, we're going to be outlining our pumpkin. So I'm starting off with the silhouette portion, and then I'm going to go in with the details. Very minimal product on my liner brush, and I am holding my breath throughout this whole process because we do not want to mess those up. I'm doing 2 curved lines touching the middle point of our pumpkin shape, and then we're going to be doing 2 on the outer edges. And then I'm going to be adding a little stem, of course, and then we are curing in the light for another 60 seconds. Now for the ring finger, we're going to be going in and doing some line art. Very simple. I'm taking white gel polish / paint, and I'm going to be going in a diagonal line, making this one a little bit thicker. And then we are going to be curing that, adding our pigment to it. I'm doing these individually because I didn't want either one to be contaminated with the other pigment. So I'm going in with the pink one first, and then I'm going to be doing a separate line and going in with orange. I'm adding a black thin line at the bottom, and then we're going to be doing a sweater nail design. I'm going to be going in with a nude line across. This is going to be like the little accent to the accent now. So we're going to be doing this one a little bit thicker, still using my long liner. I'm doing it the opposite direction. And I'm going to make it, like I said, nice and thick, or wide, I should say. We're going to cure that in the light, and then we're going to be top coating these, and I'll show you guys exactly what you need to do when you are using pigments and you are trying to top coat. Now for our top coat, I'm going in with Gloss It First from Not Polished. This is very important. When you are using pigments, do not go directly in with matte. It will pull the pigment up, and then it's not going to be a fun time. So go in with shiny top coat of your choice. I'm going in with Gloss It, adding a thin layer of that, specifically more so focusing on the areas that have pigment. So kind of leaving the cuticle area alone. I'm going to add a thin layer of that, making sure I fully cover it. And then we're going to be going into the light for 60 seconds. Once that is out of the light, we're going in with our matte top coat. I ultimately want these nails matte, so that is exactly the route that we have to take. Once we go in with our matte top coat, you're going to cure that in the light for another 60 seconds. Now for our sweater design, we're going to be going in with 2 lines going downwards. I'm doing them side by side, trying to keep them the nice same length and width and all of the little details. Trying to. Big emphasis on trying to. I'm going to be doing them side by side all the way down towards the other side. And then we are going to be connecting those lines. Very simple process of doing like a cable knit type of design. And then of course, if you're doing it like on a larger scale, you would make these a little bit wider apart, and then you can add in tiny little details on the sides as well. So the key to connecting these properly is pretty much you want to do like a little zigzag, but you're connecting the first one to the second row off to the left. So if you're, or to the right. So if you're starting off from the left side, you're going to connect it diagonally down to the right side. And you pretty much kind of curve it out a little bit. You repeat that all the way down. And then we're going to be adding some acrylic powder to mattify it and give it some texture. Very, very important to note that I'm going to be taking my powder and pouring it onto the wet surface of my gel polish that I did my nail art with. It is not cured, so we did not go into the light. I'm going on top of wet gel, adding this to thicken it up, and I do it a few times where I kind of tap off the excess and then I go in with more powder. It starts to seep into the gel polish, so as soon as you start seeing a little bit of shiny come back through, you want to add some more until it is fully matte. That means it kind of has seeped all the way through and onto the surface of that, so it's going to be nice and matte for the final look. Once you're done and have it nice and seeped in, we're going to cure that in the light for 60 seconds. But that pretty much concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a ton. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Throw it right back.